All right, we're back, and today the topic is going to be the Sony FX5 in cameras. Kind of what I think about it. I forgot that I ended with going into the other here. I think I have. Whoa! How do I? There we go. All right. So I don't know how many people are like camera people, but what am I doing? It's just like tapped out. Sony just released a new camera. Sony just released a new camera, and it's the FX5. So it's like the successor to the FX3. What a lot of people thought was going to be the FX3 Mark II. Okay, well now I don't really want to go through there. Yeah, what a lot of people thought was going to be like the FX3 Mark II ended up just being the FX5. So it's got, you know, like open gate, it has open gate, raw. Oh. I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Okay. Phone call over. So we were talking about the FX5. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff in here. The FX5, it has open gate, it has 32-bit float audio, which actually really is not a big thing. I should actually, because you have to use the top handle with it, right? It's just like the FX3. Things too. There we go. My game is so loud. It's got a few other cool things too, and I'm like, I don't know. It's definitely a cool camera. I think it'll get used a lot in higher level productions. Maybe not like the highest, but you know, like maybe some ads where they need like a good B cam. I could see the FX5 being used. I haven't really seen people talk about this. I don't think it's a replacement for the FX3. Now the FX5, it is kind of right around the same price range. If you get it without the handle, I think it's $4,200. And with the top handle, it's like $5,800, so that's a little bit more. But it's not necessarily a replacement. I still think the FX3 holds a lot more value than people think. Mainly because, like, the big thing the FX5 has over the FX3 is OpenGate. But OpenGate's easy to work around not having. And a lot of the time, like, it doesn't really make a big difference, because if you're filming for social media, you're filming just for social media, and if you're filming for social media using an FX5 as your main social media camera, GG's, you know. But yeah, so like a lot of people I see are kind of, I think they're kind of overselling the FX5 a little bit. I mean, it's definitely a great camera. I could see, well, if it had internal NDs, I could see it being used on like a lot of like mini docks or maybe even full size docks, but I don't know. I think the camera's cool, but I'm not necessarily too interested in buying one. What is this light source? Oh, it's lava. Yeah, I'm not really too interested in buying one. I think it's got there's not enough in it for me right now to upgrade my FX3 to the FX5. But the time will come that I will want to upgrade my FX3. But again, for like what I use the FX3 for is like perfect. I don't want anything else, and I don't necessarily like doing a lot of social media specific stuff, but that's kind of what a lot of it is. A lot of it is just social media stuff, so already having an FX3 is overkill. And then people say, oh, you know, you can't shoot RAW on the FX3, but the FX5 can. I'm going to be honest. I do not care for shooting RAW. I think if you're shooting RAW to go post it on social media, you've got something wrong. Probably not, but I'm sure some people do, and they put out, like, I'm sure some people put out great content with it, with shooting RAW, but it is just... it just doesn't make sense for, like, a workflow perspective. That's a weird noise. Yeah, like, that's the biggest thing I feel like it has over it. It also has a triple base ISO over dual base ISO. But, again, like, I don't know. I don't really have an issue. Well, I guess a lot of the times I do kind of, like, need to use an ND, so that would be nice. That would just be a nice quality of life thing to have, like, a triple base ISO. But not necessarily what I... not necessarily worth buying. I think whenever I do end up upgrading, I'll end up keeping the FX3 and getting probably like an FX6. Maybe if they come out with like an FX6 Mark II by the time, I mean, we're already like coping here, but maybe if they come out with something like that by the time I'm ready to upgrade it, that would be nice. But yeah, the FX3, it's just, we're gonna go down into this cave. Is this a cave? This is not a cave. It's just a workhorse, and I mean, you hang it off the back of a car, you throw it into like motorsports, like racetrack environments. It's really great because it's man, I wish I had like Fulbright. It's really great because it's so small and produces pretty good quality. And like if today I could trade my FX3 for an FX6, realistically I would probably do it, right? Like if I could just get like a free upgrade for an FX6, realistically I'd probably do it, but I wouldn't need to. I think people, when it comes to cameras, often forget like what they're actually using the camera for. And they're so like feature hungry, you know, that they just want all the new latest features, and then next thing you know, you don't even use half of them. And I've also seen people, you know, comparing it to like, what is it, like the Lumix S2, something like that. And like, I guess that's fair. But it's also just a little bit of a different camera as well. Lumixes you don't necessarily see as often on bigger productions as, like, I mean, maybe you will, but like that tier, I don't want to say like tier of camera because it definitely does give good quality footage too. But you just don't see them as much in like bigger productions as you would see like even the FX3, you know. So I don't know. Lumixes, I feel like the social media videographer should probably look into more over getting like an FX5. But that was exciting because, so how I heard about the FX5 drop, it dropped 2 days ago. I heard a rumor. I heard somebody talk about a rumor that it might drop tomorrow, right? Like he said on like an Instagram reel, oh yeah, and there's rumors that the FX5 is going to drop tomorrow. I did not know that was actually real because I'm like, been hearing rumors about the FX3 Mark II since I got my FX3. I've had people tell me, hey, don't buy your FX3, wait for the FX3 Mark II, it'll come out like in a month. And 3 years go by. Okay, not 3 years, I haven't had it that long. I think a year goes by. Yeah, I've only had it for just over a year. A year goes by and still no FX3 Mark II. I don't know if they're going to end up making one now that the FX5 exists, but that just means Sony has a pretty cool lineup of cameras with the FX series, and then I'm curious to see how far they go with like software updates. Now, the FX5 does have a few pretty cool things too, just built in, like the false color display. Okay, well, also the display is just bigger. That's nice. Having a bigger display is nice, but having a button for false color, that's also pretty nice. And something that I do, and a few other people, I think a decent amount of other people will do this, is like false color LUTs. And those are pretty cool, but just to have it so conveniently built into the camera, that would be nice to have. Maybe we can go down into this cave here. Doing great. Dude, I don't like how dark it is. Okay. Lock back in on the subject, though. Yeah, so that would be nice to have, is the, is false color, but also, like, 90% of what I'm shooting, I already have, like, an external display attached to it with a false color option, and I'm looking at that because it's a bigger display. So I don't know. We'll see what ends up happening. I think it's a great camera. I just think it may be a little overhyped. I don't know, because it is great, right? But I just hope it's not going to become like a... there's a lot of stuff down here. Okay, locked in. Yeah, so I just hope the camera's actually gonna be... Really? Am I about to die to a witch? Okay. I am completely lost on what I was talking about now. But yeah, the FX5 is out, so that's pretty cool.